SALSA stands for, this in this trial, the symptomatic hyponatremic patients and hypertonic are treated with hypertonic saline. This trial is taken from Revel-EM emergency medicine blog. So, background: hyponatremia is one of the most common electrolyte abnormalities seen in clinical practice. And undercorrection leads to cerebral edema, and overcorrection leads to osmotic demyelination syndrome. So you should measure your correction. So the current recommendation is to give small fixed intermittent boluses. This approach avoids rapid partial correction and also limits the risks of overcorrection and does not require complex calculation. On the other hand, there is an also slow continuous infusions which require complex calculation to adjust hypertonic saline to a rate of correction over time based on rate of serum sodium correction. Despite these facts, there are limited high quality trials that have demonstrated if slow continuous infusion therapy is as good as or safe as rapid intermittent bolus therapy. So this was done by Bake SH et al. You can find this in the JAMA Internal Medicine 2021. So the clinical question they have asked is, what is the risk of overcorrection with hypertonic saline within rapid intermittent boluses versus slow continuous infusion therapies with symptomatic hyponatremia? So what they did is, this is a prospective multicentral open label clinical randomized clinical trial, and they have administered hypertonic saline given for 24 to 48 hours, and serum sodium measured every 6 hours for 2 days, and treatment based on symptom severity, and patients are randomized into rapid intermittent bolus treatment and also slowed continuous infusion treatment. So as you can see here, patients are divided into two groups: moderately severe symptoms and also severe symptoms. In this, all these patients have used they have used 3% saline, obviously. So in moderately severe, they have used 2 ml per kg over 20 minutes and one bolus was given. And in case of severe, they have given 3% saline, 2 ml per kg over 20 minutes, and 2 boluses were given. So serum sodium level were measured at 1 and 6 hours. If they have grouped into 3 categories based on the sodium level increase. So if the sodium level is less than 5 millimole per liter from the initial sodium or symptoms persisted, then they have repeated the bolus. If the sodium concentration rise is between 5 to 9, they have observed in all the 12 and also 18, 24 and 30, 36 other hours also. And if the correction is more than 10 millimoles per liter from initial sodium, they have tried to re-lower the treatment. Okay, re-lowering treatment till increase in the sodium was 5 to 9 millimoles from initial sodium. So similarly, they have repeated in the other at 12 every 6 hourly intervals. So in the slowed continuous infusion treatment, what they did is, in moderate to severe symptom patients, 3% saline, 0.5 ml per kg per hour was given, and in severe cases 1 ml per kg per hour was given, and serum sodium level were measured at 1 and 6 hours. If the sodium increase, that is delta sodium, is less than 0.5 millimole per hour or less than 3 millimoles per 6 hours, then they have added around 0.25 ml per kg per hour. They have increased it. Okay, and they have maintained it. If the sodium concentration level is increased to 5 to 9 millimole per liter from the initial one, they have stopped the infusion regardless of the delta sodium. And if the sodium concentration is more than 10 millimoles per liter increase, then they have tried re-lowering treatment. So similarly at 12, if the delta sodium is less than 3 millimoles per every 6 hours, then they have added it, and if it is 5 to 9, then they have stopped the infusion and regardless of the delta Na sodium. And also if there is an increase in the sodium of more than 10 millimoles per liter from the initial value, then they have tried to lower it. So the outcomes primary outcome was to know the incidence of overcorrection at any given period. That is defined as an increase in the sodium level by greater than 12 millimoles per liter within 24 hours or 18 millimoles per liter within 48 hours. The secondary outcome were to know the efficacy and safety of the treatment approaches, whether symptoms remained at 24 and 48 hours after treatment with hypertonic saline. First, time to an increase in the serum sodium of more than 5 millimoles per liter after treatment initiation, and to know the time from treatment initiation to achievement of serum sodium more than 130 millimoles per liter. And they have also noted the incidence of the target correction and other and hospital length of stay and incidence of additional treatment. So the inclusion criteria in this therapy was to for the patient included were more than or equal to 18 years, and moderately severe to severe symptoms were included. The moderate symptoms were defined as nausea, headache, drowsiness, generalized weakness, and malaise. And severe symptoms were defined as vomiting, stupor, seizures, and coma, and GCS less than or equal to 8. And glucose corrected serum sodium of less than or equal to 125 millimoles per liter. And the exclusion criteria was primary polydipsia, pregnant or breastfeeding, anuria, arterial hypotension, then MAP of less than 170. Then if the patient has got any liver disease or any decompensated liver cirrhosis or uncontrolled diabetes or history of any cardiac surgeries, and pseudo hyponatremia with serum osmolality of more than 275 milliosmoles per kg. So these patients were excluded. So the results were out of 178 patients who were randomized, the mean age was 73.1 years and mean serum sodium was 118.2, and most common causes of the hyponatremia in the study were thiazide diuretics and also CAD and adrenal insufficiency. So hypertonic saline initiated in the ED, it was around 73.6%, and 175 patients, that is 98.3% of the study recruited, participant recruited, received hypertonic saline through peripheral IV. So in the intention to treat population, the rapid intermittent bolus were given to 17.2, and slowed continuous infusion 24.2. Then absolute risk difference was around 0.26. The additional treatment provided in almost 90.8% patients, and in slowed continuous infusion patients 74.67%, and the number needed to treat was 6.2, and incidence of relowering TEPRI was required in 41.4% in the RAB group, and in SCI group it was 57.1, and the number needed to treat was 6.3. So finally, there is no significant difference between the group observed in symptoms at 24 and 48 hours after treatment initiation, and first time to an increase in serum sodium more than or equal to 5 millimoles after treatment initiation, and incidence of the target correction rate, and also hospital length of stay. In all these parameters, there was no significant difference between these two groups. So the strengths of the trial included, it asks a clinical important question. It is a first prospective RCT comparing efficacy and safety of rapid intermittent boluses versus slowed continuous infusions with hypertonic salines. Groups had similar baseline characteristics. Majority of the patients, almost 81%, completed the study. They also performed a subgroup analysis that showed no significant heterogeneity in the effect of treatment on primary, secondary, and post hoc outcomes in the predefined subgroups. So the limitations of this study was 95% confidence interval were wide for the incidence of overcorrection, which could reflect imprecision to true effect, and urine volume of the patients were monitored. However, the difference between water and solute diuresis was not possible due to inability to evaluate urine electrolyte and osmolality in the trial, and a significant number of the patients were excluded due to protocol violations. And none of the primary or secondary outcomes are patient-centered. You used a surrogate outcome of the sodium overcorrection as the primary outcome, with relowering treatment whenever overcorrection occurred, and there were no cases of osmotic demyelinating syndrome, and the true clinically relevant outcome of the interest. So, and Finally, in the discussion part, we can conclude that there was no significant difference in the incidence of the overcorrection between the two groups, but rapid intravenous bolus therapy, simpler than the slowed continuous infusion, showed a lower incidence of the relowering treatment and tended to have a higher target correction rate within 1 hour compared to slowed continuous infusion. So concomitant IV fluids and oral fluid intake were at physician's discretion in this trial. So an important point brought up by the author is that relowering treatment adhered to more strictly in the setting of a trial rather than what actually happens in the clinical practice. With less stringent protocol adherence in reality, the risk of overcorrection could be much higher than what was reported. So the author conclusion was this randomized controlled clinical trial found that both rapid intravenous bolus and slowed continuous infusions therapies of hypotonic saline for treating hyponatremia were effective and safe with no difference in the overcorrection risk. And however, rapid intravenous bolus therapy had a lower incidence of therapeutic relowering treatment and tended to have a better efficacy in achieving serum sodium within 1 hour than slowed continuous infusion. So rapid intravenous bolus could be suggested as preferred treatment of symptomatic hyponatremia, which is consistent with the current consensus guidelines. So the take-home points from this trial: in this small RCT, both RIV and SCI therapy were effective and safe with no statistically significant differences in overcorrection of sodium. And however, rapid intravenous bolus therapy was more effective in achieving the target correction rate in first hour after treatment initiation and didn't increase the risk of overcorrection and is user friendly. No calculations required at all compared to slowed continuous infusion. Until better evidence is available, rapid intravenous bolus therapy is the treatment of choice in patients with symptomatic hyponatremia. You can find the references from this one. Thank you very much. You can follow Rebel EM. Thank you.